tip number 332 from the book 501 Contractor Tips, and this is the oldest trick in the business. When someone tells you that the check is in the mail, you could be waiting for a long time. And for any of you who have ordered things through the internet, and you've had to wait a certain amount of time, then you know better. So if you can avoid this at all costs, if you work for somebody and they tell you up front, this is what it's going to take, then you might be able to figure out a way around it. I remember working for one person who said, I need 7 days to get you a check. And then we would, when we thought we were going to be done 7 days from that point, we would bill that person. They're perfectly fine with it. When we were done, we usually had a check in the mail, came in the mail within a couple of days of when we would have billed them normally. These are things you're going to have to figure out. And again, some of these videos, some of the tips in this book, if you pay attention to them, you're not going to have to repeat these problems. You're not going to have to reinvent the wheel. I'm telling you something. You write it down. You make a note of it. You pay attention to it. You make the necessary modifications in your business to avoid problems and to speed up things, whatever it's going to be, getting paid on time, production, stuff like that. Do more of what works, less of what doesn't work in your life and in your business. And I probably said this 20 times throughout these tips. Another very important tip, pay attention to it right there. Check is in the mail. Avoid this at all costs if you possibly can. And the reason for that is that they can delay your payment for a considerable amount of time. You might get a check 3 weeks from now. They're telling you the check's in the mail. It's not in the mail. They told you it was. What are you going to do? Call them a liar? Well, that's what it's going to take to get your money sometimes. You're going to have to say, okay, if it's in the mail, I want to see when it was postmarked. And if it's not postmarked on that day, we got a problem. And another thing you can do, and I don't know if I'm going to mention this in one of my tips or not, but another thing you can do is attach a penalty to getting paid. Hey, if I don't get paid within a week, there'll be a 5% penalty, a 10% penalty. Getting that money, even though it's in there, will be a totally different story, but sometimes that might be enough to get your payment on time. So what did I say about the check in the mail? If someone says the check's in the mail, just say, hey, hand it to me. I'm coming over to pick it up. And if you are dealing with someone who does need to mail you this stuff, make sure it's all laid out before you even sign the contract. You're not going to be blindsided by this. It's going to be an acceptable situation on that particular job. You already got the information. You can't be a complete idiot and say, wait, I didn't know this. Hey, the person told you. If it's in the contract, tough. You're going to have to deal with it. If it's not in the contract and they lay that out on you, then you have already been warned what you need to do. Get that check in person if you possibly can.